How's it, guys, and welcome to episode 14 of Behind the Launch. If you want to find out how to create passive income from 10 different methods, then stay tuned. Today we've got John Shea on the call to talk about his latest product, Passive Profits Masterclass, which gives you these methods to actually start making money online. So let's get right to it. Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. Today we've got John Shea on the show to talk to us about his new product being launched on the 24th of May at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Now you're launching this with Stefan Ciancio, but before we get into that, tell us a bit more about yourself. Where did your journey start in internet marketing, and why should people listen to you?
Sure. So let me break down, I guess, my story. For anybody who has never met me before, my name is John, obviously, and I started internet marketing about 6 years ago. I initially was involved in a multi-level marketing company called Beachbody. They sell a lot of fitness products, like the popular home fitness program P90X. Kind of tried to do that for a couple of years and just wasn't having success with it. And someone in that group that was promoting that particular program started promoting this other program that was all about blogging and making money online, basically through a blog. And that really intrigued me. I said, man, making money on the internet, that's really cool. Because I was a computer guy, grew up playing computer games, and very much like a nerd, really. I would do things like my job was tech support. So anyway, I got really intrigued. I ended up doing that for about a year. And what ended up happening from there was I bought into a bunch of trainings and programs, and I found that a lot of these systems, which many of them still exist today, just other companies, is that you're kind of like bringing people into these systems. They pay money for training, and then those people try to bring in more people, and everybody's making money from the training, just bringing them into these programs to market it. So it's kind of like a big vicious cycle. Many of the people, there are some great people in some of these companies, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them were very shady. I hired someone for coaching and had a really bad time where he brought me into all these things, and I ended up getting all kinds of spam stuff sent to my phone, and just a lot of problems that the types of people that were in these. So I kind of separated myself from that sort of internet marketing niche, I guess you could say, like those kinds of programs and people, anything to do with MLM or multi-level marketing, any of that stuff. I just wanted to get away from it. Okay. So I then started following some people that were doing interview shows, and I actually really like the idea of interviews. So Mike from Maine, Mike Thomas, I started following him and people like David Siteman Garland, which of the time he ran a blog called The Rise to the Top, and started following some of these guys. I had been buying other courses and other programs, and I started doing an interview show called Voices of Marketing. I did that for about 2 years. I probably did about 75 interviews and something like 200 written interviews. So I was able to build some good relationships, and one of the relationships I built, it was actually my 13th interview, I think it was. Yeah. And I took the relationship from there, and we started an SEO service. That led into me kind of getting into SEO, learning more about that. I ended up leaving my job in tech support, and I managed to get a job in e-commerce, working for another company, helping them sell their products on Amazon, using some of my internet marketing experience with blogging. And that kind of led into me still being in a full-time job, but kind of transitioning into the marketing space. So I didn't go to college for marketing or any of that. Everything I had done was in IT and computers and learning how to troubleshoot networks and software and things like that. So kind of transitioned into marketing. And then eventually I got a couple of my own clients offering SEO services. Yeah. From that point, I ended up leaving the e-commerce jobs. I was unemployed for a little bit, tried to get some more clients. I had some web design deals. And eventually where that led was I actually decided to work for a marketing agency because I figured, hey, why not get experience, in this same industry. Nice. Quickly found out I knew a lot more about SEO than anyone else at this company. Okay. Basically there was a learning experience, but not what I expected it to be. Yeah. ended up leaving the company about 8 months later, and I decided I'm not going to go back. This is now kind of over a span of 5-6 years, but I decided I'm not going to go back. And in between all of this, I eventually started doing online courses and found that was something I loved. So really, the Passive Profits Masterclass is another one of my courses, and that was something I got pretty passionate about. I spent a lot of time with, so I was able to kind of focus on doing courses and as well as doing some client SEO, and that's where I've been able to make the bulk of my money. And now it's allowed me to go self-employed, and I don't need to wake up and sit in traffic every day like I used to years ago. So,
fantastic. No, that's an awesome story. And I mean, what I'm hearing is, with most of my guests on the show, no one bought a course and started making money within a month, and now they're sitting, making $20,000 a month. Everyone needs to, just put in the commitment, stick at it, and eventually you will make a success of it. Just keep at it.
Exactly.
No, cool. So as I mentioned, John Shea and Stefan Ciancio, they're launching Passive Profits Masterclass on the 24th of May at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. John, tell us about, you did mention, so this is one of your courses, but what's it all about, and what differentiates it from all the other courses out there?
Sure. So this course is kind of I guess you could call it like a brain dump of literally everything that I've done over the past 6 years that has actually earned me money. I don't want to necessarily say that some of the things I'm sharing are like new and breakthrough. It's more that I think the biggest thing with me is that I'm very honest about everything. So if I do something and I only make $100 or even a mere few dollars, I'm not going to go telling people and saying, hey, I'm making these crazy numbers. That's something I've never really been fond of in the internet marketing industry. Is it's very easy to kind of inflate things and make them look like what they really don't appear to be, and get people's high hopes. And obviously that generates sales, like everybody knows that. But I've never been a fan of that kind of marketing. So in this particular course, I break down 10 different methods. Many of them, some of them I haven't made a whole lot of money, and others I've made thousands and thousands of dollars. So I kind of break down the course in such a way where you get a PDF that I actually put together. It's about 9,000 words, so it's like a short ebook. And that goes through all the methods. It shares kind of a breakdown of a step-by-step of how to get started. It doesn't go super, super detailed into everything, because otherwise I'd be spending hours and hours of video courses like trying to do all of this. So basically I kind of break down the ideas of the things you could go after, the results I've had with them, and just an idea of how to get started with them. Okay. And then we do offer a couple upgrades. So when people, if they do decide to purchase, we have one where we call it like a case study, basically, where I break down a full step-by-step course that they could go and kind of take one of the methods to the next level. And
then, so that next level will be detailed, deep dive, step by step.
Yeah. So one example I could just share it is and I'll even throw a story in on this. So I had actually bought a course for about $500 a few years ago. It was about how to become successful freelancing on freelance sites. And, it's a pretty general thing. Anybody could go be a freelancer. But, of course, I wasn't getting traction. Like 2-3 weeks go by, and just like most people, they give up quickly if they don't see results. And that's what I did. I gave up. So I actually ended up going back. I got a refund. About a year later, I was reading a blog article from one of the teachers of that course. And I decided to hire him for coaching, because I knew that he had made it work. Like, he had figured something out that was working really, really well. So I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna make this work. I want to go out there and freelance and land clients he's making these deals all the time with different clients. So I said, I really want to do that. So I actually went out and hired him for $2,500. We got on a bunch of Skype calls, and he basically handheld me. But really, the process wasn't much different from his course. I just decided to put the mindset of, hey, I put money into this. I'm going to take it seriously. And I ended up closing a client for $2,500 a month off one of the most popular freelance sites, following what he taught me. Okay. And then from there, I've now earned like over $10,000 on that platform. Helping other businesses out. So it was kind of like I gave up at first, and then I took that seriously. So anyway, in the course, I shared that kind of as a case study. You get a glimpse into starting. And then one of our upsells or other offers is a very much like hand-holding. It's like an hour-long plus course of me going through how to set up your profile, reviewing it, going through everything. Really more or less teaching what I learned myself. So everything that I did to go out and make that 10,000 plus.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. But, I mean, it sounds like you say there's 10 different methods. And, I mean, like you say as well, you found a passion in creating online courses, so that's one method. But trying out all 10, you will find one that actually, triggers your interest, keeps you motivated. You could do all 10, but, I mean, you need to, poke at everything and see what you like and see what works for you. And that's what I actually like about this course. It gives you, 10 is quite a lot of different things to try out. So what requirements, and first of all, just on that, just on the front end, if you pick this up and do not go for the upsell, which goes into detail for the specific method, would this be enough to actually start generating, even that $10 online? Or
yeah, for sure. Really the methods are all pretty sound. Like I give enough details that they have enough that they could go get started. I just don't really like handhold them through all the processes. Mm-hmm. It also has videos with it, which I created a little while ago, but essentially the videos are just kind of an introduction to what the method is. It shows what the source is, and then it gives people a general idea of what I've done to have some success with them. Okay. And the PDF is really the big complement to that. So I really break down everything in very more detail. But again, it's not like a full-on thing. So for example, another method is like how to build Amazon affiliate websites where you can make money from Amazon commissions. If somebody comes to your website, they buy a product through your link, you can earn money as an Amazon affiliate. So I kind of share what that is, but I have another course. We don't actually offer it as an upsell in this particular case, but I have a course that's 6 hours long on everything detailed step by step, how to go and set that up and how to create that site and do everything you need to do. So that's something that I was able to sort of take this, and it gives people an idea, like they're going to know, okay, these are things I could focus on. And I really recommend to people picking like one or two of them and putting all their time and energy into that. So for me, I've kind of, again, bounced around a little bit. Some of the sites, like you could put some time into things, and once they're set up, you'll likely be able to, once they're kind of going, some of them have their own native marketing, and you won't necessarily need to put as much energy into trying to get income out of them once you've set some of them up and gotten them sort of going, like an Amazon affiliate site, for example, or once your Upwork profile is there and set up, you get job invites. So a lot of this stuff just takes time and a little bit of consistency.
So it's you kind of do the work once, put it on the site, and then it starts generating a passive income, and then you don't sit back and wait for the money to come in. You work on your next project to put in the work for the next thing, and so on, and eventually you build up this massive passive income. Much.
And the other thing I'll say too about passive income, and I like to follow the same motto as Pat Flynn of the Smart Passive Income, is he always says that you want to work hard now and reap the rewards later. So nothing is really truly passive. It's more about you put in the time into one of these things. True. And just like with Upwork, it's not entirely passive, but if I have an Upwork profile that is being found by potential prospects and I'm just getting job invites. I got an email the other day from someone, and they said, "Hey, I found you on Upwork. I'd be interested in hiring you for your SEO services." And I closed them down. I didn't even have to try. Literally the guy called me on the phone. He talked my ear off for 5 minutes. And I basically said, "Hey, $600 a month. Let's do it." And I sent him the invoice within the day, and I had him. So that's kind of like, because of the fact that I built up the reputation there, I spent the time to do other work to get good feedback and get 5-star ratings. So it's taken time, but obviously that's kind of where things start to pick for you.
And one thing you mentioned, I'm just thinking out loud now. I think that's why most people quit, because they put in the massive effort. They actually are dedicated and they are doing the work, and then they don't get the results as soon as they expect it, and then they just give up. So I mean, the point is just keep on working at it. You will find success. One thing is, so for this Passive Profits Masterclass, what's the requirements in terms of, well, I would say personality, but more skill, time, your effort you need to put in. I mean, how much hours a day do you need? So if someone picks us up, what does it require from them?
Yeah, it definitely varies, like depending on the method that they pick. I mean, I did this part-time for many years. So what I would suggest is you pick 1 or 2 of the 10 methods. You go after that until it's getting you some success. Depending on what you're doing, you may want to move on to something else. But generally, a lot of these, I just put a little bit of effort in each day. So it might be an hour or 2 hours. I like to use Sundays personally when I was working full time to kind of just get extra things done instead of just relaxing and watching TV all day or something. I would be working on, creating videos for a course or something like that I might be selling. So anything that I could be doing to kind of enhance that's the way that I looked at, just doing a little bit each and every day, taking action. I know for a lot of people, they might be buying this thinking, oh, this is going to be like the next thing, and like this is going to be my answer. And I used to think that for years. Like I was always like, man, this looks interesting, and I jump into it thinking, oh, this might be better than something else, and quickly realized that that's not the case. No matter what you do, I don't care what anybody says, everything is going to take work and effort. Yeah,
and that's the truth. Let's talk about it. You did mention on the proof earlier. So I mean, on the sales page, the proof on there, it does look very lucrative. Is that your proof, or is it proof that you do a beta run on this, or where does those screenshots come from?
Yeah, so most of the money that I've made is just accumulated over years of time. I do share, like on my blog, I have a blog called No Shame Income, and I do like income reports, so people could go and check out the income reports and see where I'm making my money. I kind of break it down pretty much between everything. It usually ranges anywhere from like $2,000 to $10,000. Most of the time, I would say, following a lot of these methods, if you really put the time and the energy into setting up a lot of them, the biggest profitable ones, then you could probably have it really going easily up to like $4,000 or $5,000 a month. But again, it's going to take time. This isn't something that people are going to go and apply this, and in 3 days it's going to be making them crazy money. It just doesn't work like that.
Exactly. No, cool. And so if someone picks this up and they work through the course, are they left in the dark? Number one, will they get support if they struggle with anything, or?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook group that people can join. They can ask questions there. I'll obviously be in there to answer and help people out. At the bottom of the PDF, I even leave my contact information, so people could email me if they have a question about something. But yeah, I mean, I suspect most people will go through it and think like, hey, here are some really good ideas, or I like this thing over this thing, and that'll get them more intrigued to maybe work on it over another. Yeah. So that's basically where things are kind of at, and that's what it's all about. Okay,
awesome. And so one last thing, is there any money back guarantee for those people that don't want to, scared to throw away their money?
I mean, honestly, for this price, like I should be charging thousands of dollars for what I'm giving away, because it's really just things that have taken me years to learn on my own. Some of the people might say, hey, I know a lot of these things already, and they've heard of them, which I wouldn't be surprised. But the thing about it is that, these are the things that are working. So I'm very upfront and honest about what's actually working, what's not, where you could put more time and energy. There's some things that I decided not to put more time and energy into. And if people did that, they could probably make a lot more money than I have with some of the methods I share. So it's really all a matter of perspective and what you kind of want to focus on. I could give an example of one. Actually, I paid somebody $600 for some coaching at one point last year to learn how to do Android apps and how to publish them on the Android App Store and the Google Play Store. And the idea was that you create these free apps and you basically embed ads in them and you give away the apps for free. So you're basically getting thousands of downloads. And I actually show a case study where I ranked an app for easy card tricks. If you go on the Google Play Store and you type in easy card tricks, my app is like number one, has almost 10,000 downloads. And that app probably took me an hour to build. From all the users being in the app and using it, they actually have my ads displaying, which I'm earning revenue from. So I could have scaled that and built a whole bunch more apps, but I decided that that wasn't something I really wanted to spend all my time on. So, there are other people I know that are making hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, from Android apps or, Apple apps.
Yeah.
So that's something that I spent a little bit of time on, made a little bit of money, but someone else could go and scale that, and I know it's very scalable.
Exactly, and I mean that comes back to there's a lot of different ways, but every person will have a different preference or different interest, So I mean, we're not too interested in pursuing the whole app thing, and you went more with the training. Someone else might be more developer background or writing games, and he might just pursue that. So, but yeah, so that's cool. So let's talk about the price points. You did mention, I mean, this course is awesome value, but what's the front end? And there is an early bird for the guys.
Yeah,
watching.
there is. I'm actually gonna see if I can pull it up. See if I have all the exact. So there's so many numbers. If I consider all the others, see
So
if I
you guys
can
need
pull it
to
up.
jump in at launch time to get this at the lowest price possible.
Yeah, so we're gonna start at about $8, and then it's gonna be on what's called a dime sale. So as sales come in, the price will rise throughout the first several hours, and it's gonna go up to about $14. And then we have a couple upsells. So there is a $37 upsell. If they decide not to take that, we give them a downsell, which is basically takes away one of the bonuses, and they can get another one for about $27. And then there's a second offer, which is $37 as well, and again into another downsell for $27. So basically a couple of my other courses that they can pick up, which really dig a lot deeper into some of the methods. One of them, in fact, is a 5-hour long course. So they're getting a steal on that particular upsell.
Okay, cool. So all the upsells is basically diving deeper into the methods.
Yep.
Step by step. No, fantastic. John, anything else you want to share with us before I let you go?
I would say that anybody who decides to pick up the course, just take one or two things, pick it, and focus on it. You'll be able to see how, even for me, I didn't put as much focus into some things as others, and the things I did put a lot of time and energy into made me a lot of money, and that was how I was able to finally go self-employed. So, pick one thing and stick to it. I know even me and you were just talking before we started, you're interviewing people about all these products, but you're focused on your interview show, and that's what you're spending all your time on. So that's what I recommend to anyone else who's listening is, if you decide to pick up this product or even any other products from other people you've interviewed, pick one thing and just stick with that. And, I would say do it for at least 90 days until you have some results with it. And that's going to be the way to go.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. John, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And hopefully I'll see you on here again soon.
Yeah.
And I want to wish you and Stefan all the best with the launch on the 24th. And I'll chat to you again soon.
No problem. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. And there you have it, guys. Awesome course with massive value. So be sure to get into the early bird price to pick it up for only $8. And I would recommend OTA 1 at least, just to get you that deep dive. Not necessary, but pick a method, stick with it, and you will see results. That's it from me, your host, Peter Duprier.